Erik ten Hag speaks out about his future after Manchester United's win over Man City yesterday. Ineos reportedly holding emergency talks this week to decide his future. And was that the last game we will see Casemiro and Marcus Rashford in a Man United shirt? These are some of the stories we're going to be discussing on this morning's show. But before we get into that, please smash a like on the video. Let's try and see 200 likes on today's show. And make sure you subscribe to the channel as well. I will be live throughout the whole of the transfer window with a video for you in the morning, a video for you in the evening. And if anything breaks during the day, I will go live as well. So make sure you get involved in the channel. So let's start off by obviously talking about yesterday's game. Historic win for Manchester United, topping off our worst season in Premier League history with silverware. We have had a better season than Arsenal. We've had a better season than Liverpool. We have won something. We've won the FA Cup, the second best trophy in England after the Premier League, a historic trophy. And you could see how much it meant to Erik ten Hag. After the game, he said how, as a child, he used to watch the FA Cup matches in the Netherlands, and that it was one that was on his bucket list, one that he always wanted to win. And I'm so happy for him. I think he set us up absolutely perfectly yesterday. I think the tactics were 100% spot on. I think the formation was spot on. I think he made some massive decisions in dropping Casemiro and also playing Marcus Rashford over Amad Diallo. And you know what? It worked perfectly. Kobbie Mainoo and Amrabat as a defensive pivot, two midfielders, was perfect. And the question I want to ask you guys before we get into the rest of the show is, would you sign Sofyan Amrabat? Let me know in the comment section. This one's obviously going to divide opinion. I was 50-50 before yesterday's game. I said, I want to see how he gets on in the final games of the season, because it's all good and well, you know, him playing well against Arsenal, but still us losing the game. I wanted to see how he performed against Man City, the best team in the world, against Rodri, the best CDM in the world. And I think he did really, really well yesterday. Paul Scholes compared him to Gattuso, which is an absolutely massive bit of praise there for him. Just to give you a bit more clarity on the position and to give you a bit more of a basis of how to make your decision. If we want to sign Sofyan Amrabat, we will need to pay £17.1 million to Fiorentina. We paid them £8 million this season as a loan fee, and if we want to make the deal permanent, it will cost us a further £17.1 million. Let me just get your age. I think he's 27. Let me just double check. Yeah, he's 27 years of age. You know what? I'm going to say it. I would sign Sofyan Amrabat. I'd get rid of Casemiro and I'd sign Sofyan Amrabat. I think even as a squad player, I think he's solid. Christian Eriksen, let's be honest, needs to go. Casemiro, let's be honest, needs to go. That's two midfielders who should be leaving this summer. Donny van de Beek will most likely leave as well, and Hannibal Mejri will most likely leave as well. That's now four midfielders who will go. Donny, Hannibal, Casemiro and Eriksen. And you've got Sofyan Amrabat here, who's just put in my opinion, 9 out of 10 performance against the best team in the world in an FA Cup final, available for 17 million. He's in the prime years of his career, 27 years of age. I would go and get him. Now, just to be very, very clear, we need to sign Sofyan Amrabat and another midfielder. Somebody like, for me, not personally, I don't want to go for Rabiot as the second midfielder. I don't think he's good enough. But, you know, somebody for the future, somebody like João Neves from Benfica, that would be my number one option, realistically. Obviously, an absolutely unbelievable player. I think he could come in alongside Kobbie Mainoo, and that could be our midfield for the next 10 years. I think he would be a quality addition. So, for me personally, I think Man United should go and trigger that release clause for Sofyan Amrabat. That could be our first deal of the summer. And I don't think anybody would massively question it, because he was absolutely unbelievable yesterday. Unbelievable, and I think he deserves heaps of praise. He's had a really tough season. And I really, really respect him. But yeah, for me personally, go and get him for 17 million. And if we then can go and get another big player, go and get someone like João Neves from Benfica. And then that's your midfield sorted then. You can let Casemiro go. You can let Eriksen go. You can let Donny go. And you can let Hannibal go. That should be 20 million for Casemiro, 5 million for Eriksen, 5 million for Donny van de Beek, and maybe 5 million for Hannibal. That's what, 35, 40 million? Get rid of those four. Bring in Sofyan Amrabat. Promote one player from the youth team. Maybe Dan Gore could come through into the first team, and then you go and buy another player as well. So you effectively get rid of four midfielders, and then you bring in Sofyan Amrabat, Dan Gore from the youth, and one more signing in that area. That's levels above. But let me know what you guys think about that. Moving over to the managerial situation, and I wanted to read out some of Erik ten Hag's quotes from the post-match press conference. And you know what? I think Erik ten Hag completely bossed it. And I want to say this now, right? some of the questions that the people were asking him were an absolute disgrace. Not once did I hear them say, congratulations on outwitting Pep Guardiola today. Congratulations on beating the best team in the world, Man City, who've just won the Premier League 4 times in a row. None of that. It was, have Ineos confirmed that they're going to keep you? What date did they tell you that they're going to keep you? When did they say you were part of the project? Give me the date. They were really pressing him, and it was honestly, it was so disrespectful, and it just shows you how bad the media are here in the UK, the mainstream media anyway. So Erik ten Hag said this. He says 2 trophies in 2 seasons, as well as 3 finals. Not bad, hey? We hadn't won a trophy for 6 years. 6 years was the last time we won a trophy. He's got us 2 back-to-back. The first manager since Sir Alex Ferguson to get us back-to-back trophies 1 year after another. He then goes on to say, if Ineos don't want me anymore, I'll go somewhere else and win trophies. That's what I do. That's a mic drop moment there from Erik ten Hag, and I respect him 150%. I agree with him. He will leave Manchester United if they don't want him. He will go somewhere else, and in 2 years' time, we'll be sat here with Kieran McKenna, and the same people sat at home today who want Erik ten Hag out will be screaming for Kieran McKenna to be out, and will be told it's a project. Trust the project. Give it time. Erik ten Hag will be off winning trophies, winning major trophies, and we'll be sat here looking stupid. Do not make this mistake, Ineos. You said you were going to listen to the fans. You said that you weren't going to be like the Glazers and that you would communicate with the fans. So far, you've not communicated with the fans once. Not once. And this is the first opportunity that you've got to prove yourselves. And if you make the wrong decision here and sack a man who has just got us back-to-back trophies, has improved players like Dalot massively. He's brought through Kobe Mainu. He's brought through Garnacho. He's brought in Rasmus Højlund, and who I think's done really, really well. He's brought through people like Willy Camboire. He's given youth a go. And you want to get rid of that? I think it's a disgrace. I absolutely think it's a disgrace. And if they go against the fans, I saw Andy Mitten, who is a really good journalist. He's a season ticket holder for Man United, writes for The Athletic, really reliable journalist. He doesn't put out crap. He did a poll last night, okay, on his Twitter page. Obviously, all Man United fans have an opinion, right? I get it. I'm going to be careful about what I say here. But Andy Mitten is a season ticket holder. He doesn't say controversial things for likes and clicks. He is a reputable journalist. You know, he interviews the players. He speaks with the manager. Like, they like him. Does that make sense? He's not somebody who just like says, he doesn't bash the players. He's not toxic. The point I'm trying to make here is he did a poll last night on his Twitter page. 53,000 fans voted, right? 85% of people said they want to keep Erik ten Hag, and only 15% of people said they didn't. That's 53,000 people voted in this poll, and 85% of people want Erik ten Hag to stay. And it'll be really interesting to see what you guys think as well. Everyone's opinions are valid, but I want you to get in the comment section. It's really simple, and we're going to look back on this in tomorrow's video. You either say Erik ten Hag in or Erik ten Hag out. Leave the comment in the comment section. If you want to give more reasons as to why you've said it, you know, if you say, you know, Kieran, yes, we want a trophy, but I don't think he's the right man for the job, let me know. But tomorrow I will come back and I'll go through all the comments, and then I will give you the results of that poll. So it'd be really interesting to see what you guys have to say. In my opinion, the fans have spoken. If you look on other pages as well who are doing polls, it's 80-90% of the fans want Erik ten Hag to stay. If they go against the fans, it's a disgrace. I'm sorry. Especially if, you know, the prospect is bringing in Kieran McKenna, who, let's remember, was the person who coached the team under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Just remind yourselves of that. Kieran McKenna and Michael Carrick were the 2 head coaches. In fact, Kieran McKenna was the assistant manager for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. People were saying we don't have a style of play. They're a bunch of PE teachers. They don't know what they're doing. Get them out of my club. They were here 2 years ago. We didn't win a single trophy. Nothing. We've brought a man in his first year in the Premier League who's had over 45 different injuries this season, the most out of any in the Premier League. And he's still managed to get us an FA Cup, outsmarting the best manager in the world at the moment, against the best team in the world at the moment in Man City. And if you can't give him credit for that, Ineos are deluded. They're no better than the Glazers. I was saying this on Twitter last night. I got a little bit heated. If Ineos make the wrong decision here and they don't listen to the fans and they just want a puppet, someone like Kieran McKenna who they can come in and boss and tell them what to do, they're no better than the Glazers. And I'm going to be honest with you guys, the more I actually think about Jim Ratcliffe, at the very, very basic level, he facilitated the Glazers staying. Remind yourselves of that. He's kept the debt. He's asking for the government for handouts for a new stadium. And he effectively, until yesterday, was going to sack a manager to bring in Kieran McKenna. even though most of the fans didn't want that to happen. If they then still go against the fans now and sack him, it's an absolute disgrace. I know Ineos aren't watching this. I've seen on Twitter people saying, Ineos don't care about the fans. They're going to make a decision based on what they want to do. They're not going to listen to the fans. And that's exactly against what Jim Ratcliffe said. He said that they would communicate with the fans. He said that he understood that the Glazers over the last 10 years, didn't speak to the fans. They didn't do interviews. So far, Jim Ratcliffe's only told us that he's a local lad who left Manchester in his late teens, went to London, has a season ticket at Chelsea, and then fled the UK to live in Monaco so he didn't have to pay any taxes. I mean, that doesn't sound like a local lad to me. I think he's milking the fact that he was born in Manchester, but as soon as he had the opportunity to leave, he did leave, in my opinion. I don't see it any other way. And so far, from what I've seen of them, we're very, very early doors, but they've attempted to get Dan Ashworth, made a mess of that. They've attempted to get Omar Barada. That's obviously not going to happen until July, August. And they've got a head of a technical director from Southampton who are in the Championship. Maybe that's good. Maybe that's not good. But the debt is still there. The stadium's still leaking. And they're publicly not backing a manager the day before an FA Cup final and having stories leaked that they're going to sack him to replace with Kieran McKenna, and stories coming out that they've already spoken to Kieran McKenna. That's disrespectful to me. That's disrespectful to the fans, and that's disrespectful to Erik ten Hag. And if you genuinely think that Sir Jim Ratcliffe cares about us, if he doesn't even care about the manager, he doesn't care about his staff. We've seen him cancelling, things, not giving the staff tickets, all of these different things, which in some ways might be commendable, saying he's trying to tighten the purse, if you like, and not give out things. But if he's treating a manager of his club this badly, which effectively he has, going out and publicly speaking to Kieran McKenna and his agent the days before an FA Cup final, then what do you think he makes of us? He probably just thinks that we're just, part of the puzzle that make him all the money that, I don't know, it frustrates me. And I'm not going to sit here and say that, if they keep him, I'll suddenly like Jim Ratcliffe. I think in the last week, my opinions of them have really, really changed. I tried to give them the benefit of the doubt. I tried to be positive. I tried to say, things are going to get better. But the more I think about it and the more I go back to my actual morals, the debt is still here. The stadium at the moment is still leaking and they're asking the government for handouts. We didn't sign anybody in January, fine, that's not a problem. And the manager has effectively been thrown under the bus and publicly disgraced after he's won us back-to-back trophies, has improved the team, has brought through Kobbie Mainoo, who is a generational talent. There was always a plan with Erik ten Hag and Kobbie Mainoo. He has brought him into that team. Garnacho, he's a starting player at 19 for Man United because of Erik ten Hag. Rasmus Højlund, 16 goals in his debut season and has done well under Erik ten Hag. There's so many instances. Dallow's improved massively. I think who else has improved massively? I think, Willy Camboire has come through and done well. I think Bruno's obviously done okay, not amazing. And I think Onana in the end will come good. But it's just really frustrated me last night. There was a mixture of emotions. I was happy. I was so happy that we won the trophy. But at the same time, I was just frustrated. I felt like we were just stuck with another Glazer member. You see him sat up in the box next to the Glazers. He just seems like a Glazer to me. I'm sorry. I can't rub that out of my head. He's facilitated them. He's kept them. And I know there's nothing we can do about it now. The Glazer out movement is gone. There's no one protesting. There's no one chanting because Man United fans are the best supporters in the world. We back our managers, we back our players, and we try and back our owners. And I think that's what Man United fans are doing at the moment. But I can't help but air my concerns and air my fears and air my worries about him because at the moment, I don't think they're doing any better job than the Glazers. It's still such early days. Things can change. Things can get better. And I think they will. But at the moment, they've got the biggest decision since they joined the club. And the narrative is they're not going to listen to the fans. They're going to do what they want to do. And I still wouldn't be surprised if they sack him. And if they do, I honestly think it's a disgrace. I will lose all respect for them. I will think they will have absolutely zero football knowledge. As Erik ten Hag said in his press conference, just after he beat the best team in the world, Man City, and won our second trophy in 2 seasons, right? One of the interviewers said, "You're not where you should be. Can you admit," he said to Erik ten Hag, "Can you not admit that you're not in a position where you should be at the moment?" And Erik ten Hag went back to him and said, "I don't think you understand how football works," which I agree. What did these people expect? You had Johnny Evans and Casemiro playing as your centre-backs for most of the last kind of 10 or so games. You had at points we had no left-back all season. We had, injuries across the whole team. We had Jadon Sancho calling out the manager. You had the Greenwood stuff. You had Anthony allegations. You had a takeover. You had Ronaldo. You had all of these problems. How many of these things have happened to Arsenal this season? Name me one instance. Arsenal have every single player in their squad available. Erik ten Hag has at no point spoke badly about the players. He's at no point spoke badly about the owners. He's handled it in such a respectful way, and I think that's what makes me like him so much. But I'm going to wrap the video up here, guys. Remember, I want you to let me know in the comment section, Erik ten Hag in or Erik ten Hag out. I want to see what you guys think, and make sure you like and subscribe to the video. And I also want you guys to let me know, do you think yesterday's game was the last time we will see Casemiro and Rashford at Man United? Let me know. Again, we'll talk about it in more depth on another show. Have a great Sunday, everybody. I'll speak to you all tomorrow. Don't forget to like. Don't forget to subscribe. This has been Daily with Devil, and I'll speak to you all later.